What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Powered by Primus, and in today's video I'll be doing a deck profile video on Scorponok. Now, it has been a while since I've done deck profile videos, so I'm super excited to jump back into them, especially since we have our new Arc Wave 1 out. There is a lot of new stuff to explore and do, and obviously you guys are going to see these things on the channel. So throughout the time that I'm doing all these videos, if you guys see a deck that you specifically want to see a video on, make sure you guys let me know. You can get our Facebook page at Powered by Primus. You guys can @ me at Twitter at Powered by Primus, Instagram, whatever you guys want to hit me up at, let me know. Now, if you guys want to make sure you guys get access to everything as soon as it's always coming out, make sure you guys are subscribed. You guys are a part of the team. You guys get access to every video as soon as they become available. Hit the little bell, bing, it's supposed to let you know when I put stuff up. It usually doesn't, but it's supposed to. And in today's video, again, we're going to be going over Scorponok. I'm going to tell you guys a lot more about the character, why I'm doing specific plays with the character. You guys are going to be able to see all the cards, as well as each reason why it is in the deck. Now, I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Obviously, if you do, a like would be greatly appreciated. It really helps me out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Alright, now talking about Scorponok, the Brutal Warlord, going through the entire deck. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is this character here in alt mode is going to be a Titan, Leader, Beast, and Melee. So there's a lot of tags that we can do quite a bit of different stuff with in this list. I'm not going to be doing too much with it. Only a couple of pips are going to be based on that. However, there are some really cool options you guys can do with the character. Going to come in here with 8 attack, 25 health, and 2 defense. Now, going to be coming in a little bit of a different way than we did see with Fort Max, but gonna play to a lot of that very aggressive, similar style for Titans. It does say, before the game begins, you may put an Electro Stinger of Scorponok from your deck onto this. We'll talk about that card here in just a moment. It also does say that when you flip to this mode, you get to draw a card, and then this begins with Lord Zerk, Ruler of Nebulon, on him in head mode. Now, before we talk about Lord Zerk as a character, we're going to talk about, obviously, the head mode that we're going to have here, giving us Focus 1 and Tough 1. Now, when we transform to our other mode here, we're going to line everything up because it looks absolutely beautiful. Boom. Oh, so pretty. Is going to be a Titan, Leader, and Melee. Now, this is going to be a body mode because he is obviously going to be a Titan Master and is going to now have the same stats across the board, 8 and 2. Does pick up Bold 1 on top of that. So you're going to get Bold 1 via the body, and then again, you still have the Focus 1 and the Tough 1 while you are in with the head. And then it does say that when this attacks, you may play one of your flipped upgrades onto this character after the battle. If you don't play an upgrade this way, you may flip this. So it's a really cool mechanic to be able to do this kind of attack here and to get a upgrade after combat. So you don't get to get any really crazy shenanigans by getting it beforehand. That's one thing that like Emissary does get from the Fort Max, is that if you happen to flip those battle icons, right immediately you get to go get something out of your scrap pile. And this is just out of those upgrades that you do get to flip. Boom, you get to put them on the table. Really fun stuff. And then again, after we attack, if we don't flip any action, or sorry, any upgrades that we want to play, then boom, obviously we'd be tapped. We will transform to this mode, and then we do get to draw a card. And again, keeping the Focus 1 and Tough 1 for when our opponent goes to crack back into us. Now, after your character does go down, you get Lord Zerk, obviously the Ruler of Nebulon, out. Going to be a Leader and a Melee character as well, coming in here with 6 attack, 10 health, and 1 defense. Does have access to Focus 2 and Tough 2. So really nice, a lot of reliability left on this character, and it's because usually if you get to Zerk, you have to try to close the door really quick if you are the Scorponok player, because if you don't finish in probably a swing or 2, you are most likely going to lose the game. So again, it is really important that once you get to Zerk, you try to close the door as fast as as you possibly can. And then it does say that when you deploy this from under Scorponok, you may put a Zerk Shield from Scorponok onto this. Again, we'll talk about Scorponok's shield here in just a moment, but it's really cool that once the character does go down, Zerk gets to pop out with that shield on him if it was on Scorponok before he was KO'd. And then finally, because this is a 24-star team, I am going to be running a Villainous Spotlight in the list because obviously these characters are both going to be Decepticons, so we do get access to 2 additional star cards, which we will talk about in the list as well. Now, since we're already talking about upgrades and a lot of those specific upgrades, we're going to talk about a few of the upgrades that are going to be coming with our Wave 1 to obviously be really paired nice and well with our Scorponok. And the first one here is going to be Crushing Claws. Now, Crushing Claws is a blue battle icon. Upgraded is going to be a weapon, and you can have up to 2 Crushing Claws in his weapon slot. Makes sense, right? Got 2 little lobster claws, so we get to have 2 Crushing Claws. It also says that when the upgraded character attacks, if you have no other characters and flip at least orange, black, blue, do 1 damage to each enemy. So a lot like WoW Fort Max, you flip, you get an orange, black, you get to shoot a bunch of stuff for 2. This is going to be more specific, flipping that orange, black, blue, doing 1 damage to each enemy. And then obviously because we can have 2 in our weapon slot, if you do have both in that weapon slot, you do flip an orange, black, blue, then you get to do 2 damage to each enemy. Now, it also does say if you do not control another character, and this does not also only say you can only put it onto Scorponoks. You can play this in some of your other decks as well. Again, really fun if you are playing something that's got like a really multi-pip deck. It does not say that it can only go onto Decepticons, so you have quite a range of characters that are actually going to love to play this card even outside of Scorponok, but again, because they're Crushing Claws in it, Scorponok, of course, we got to run it in this list. And then in addition to that, it does give us +2 attack. So if you do happen to have both of the Crushing Claws down, then you are going to be getting access to +4, which is really, really nice. Now the next one coming in here that we were just talking about is going to be Zerk Shields, a 3 of. It's going to be an orange battle icon. It is an upgrade armor, and then it does say that while this is on Scorponok, he gets +1 defense, so you will be getting +2 defense while it is on Scorponok. It does say that while this is on Zerk, he cannot take more than 3 attack damage in a single attack, so it basically turns him into Shrapnel with having that built-in ability. Obviously, if your opponent removes the armor or the shield, then it does go away. They no longer have access to that. And then again, if this is on our big man when he is KO'd, when we deploy Zerk, this gets to go with him as well. Whereas normally when a body mode character is KO'd, all of the upgrades then do go to the scrap pile unless you do have the escape capsule. However, with this one, it does automatically carry over because Zerk does say so. Now the next one coming in here is a 2 of, is going to be the Electro Stinger of Scorponok. Again, we're talking about all the Scorponok cards. You got to have them across the board. This is a white battle icon card, and this is the one that does start the game in play onto your Scorponok, like Scorponok does say. It does say, however, on this one, it is a utility and put onto Scorponok only, and does give access to Pierce 2. So Scorponok will be starting the game with Pierce 2, which is super, super nice. And then it says that this can't be scrapped by your opponent's cards. Now, it can be scrapped by an effect that makes you scrap a card. Let's say your opponent plays a Smelt. This is your only upgrade. It does get rid of the card. It can also be hit with Disarm and a few other effects that are in the game as well. And it says while Scorponok does have his Crushing Claws and Zerk Shield, he gets an additional Pierce 5, so it's a massive Pierce 7. However, it is really hard to get all 3 of these out on a consistent basis. Maybe you'll have it for like a turn, but most of the time you'll be getting hit with a lot of upgrade removal from your opponents. However, if you do get it off again, if you have all 3, you do get access to that Pierce 7, which is super, super nice, but you do have to have all 3 and it be on Scorponok. The next 3 coming in here is going to be Terrifying Resilience. Now, this is a really amazing card in the list. It's an orange-black battle icon card. It is an armor as well, and it says it can't be put onto Autobots, so clearly we can put it on our character, and then does give us Tough 2. Now, the really cool part about this card is seeing it on top of the deck when it comes to focusing for Scorponok. You still get a hit. You get that additional orange, you get that additional black, and then you get to play an upgrade at the end of the battle, and then you get to put this on your character since now you're about to go into defending. Then you get access to that Tough 2 right off the bat, which is really, really nice because, as you guys can clearly see, this is going to be a multi-pip deck. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff with all kinds of different colors, so it's a really, really nice card to have in the list. And the last 2 upgrades coming in here is going to be Enforcement Batons and Bashing Shield. Now, these are always a pair for me. They're usually in most of my decks, and it's because they're really nice as 1-ofs. Both going to be orange and green battle icon cards, so giving us that +1 attack, and green's allowing us to be able to fish it, get rid of a bunch of cards in our hand if we want to pick them up, which is really nice. And then Bashing Shield is an armor with +1 defense. When you play it on a character, scrap an enemy armor. And Batons weapon gives us +1 attack. When you put this on a character, scrap an enemy weapon. The other really cool part about this is with Scorponok's ability, when we do get to attack at the end of combat, we get to put an upgrade into play. So sometimes our opponent is going to have a weapon that we want to respond to right away, or even an armor for whatever reason. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to get through it with our attack, but we'd be able to play one of these to then remove something on our opponent's side of the table, which is pretty cool. Now, it may seem really strange that we don't have that many upgrades on the list. However, we really are trying to make sure we get to these 3 specific upgrades, so I don't really want to be fighting for my own upgrade spots. The other part about it is we are only a 1-character team. We are a 1-tall. So trying to have weapons for multiple characters usually doesn't work out too well. I don't want to be replacing my own weapons with other weapons. And because I can have 2 weapons in the Crushing Claw spot, and these are ones I really want to go for, it's really easy for me to be able to try to get at least 1 or 2 upgrades onto Scorponok, especially with his ability. And we do have a few cards that are obviously going to help us out with that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the actions. Now, coming with our first 3 of 4 actions is going to be Fight for Position, an orange and a black battle icon card. Again, it's really nice because we are trying to get some good attacks in when we are swinging. We want to try to be taking down main characters in probably 2 to 3 swings max, or 2 with some direct damage, which will be really nice. So Fight for Position, giving us that bold 2 is going to really help us out for getting some of those big hits in. Not to mention Scorponok does have focus, so make sure you obviously, if you're attacking, you get those blue cards off the top of your deck, and then if you are defending, you get those orange cards off the top of your deck. The next three coming in here as a really fantastic card is going to be Magnetic Dysfunction right now. This card is already ridiculously good, don't get me wrong. It definitely didn't need any more support when it came down to it. However, in this list, it can be really good because we are a 1-tall. It only does 1 damage to ourselves. Now, most lists that are playing this are 3-wide Decepticon decks, maybe some 2-wide stuff, and even in those decks, you're taking 2 to 3 damage, which can be pretty rough, but you're dealing more to your opponent as well. But in this one, we're only going to be taking 1 damage, and our opponent's going to be taking potentially 3 to 6 damage if they have Autobots, so it can be really nice for us to get more damage onto our opponent than ourselves, which is good. And then again, it is an orange-black battle icon, so again, helping us out on the attack, and then trying to push, obviously, more of that pierce to make sure that we are being able to finish characters, because nothing is more depressing than swinging for like 8, and then your opponent blocks 6, and you're only getting in for 2. However, most of the time, we're trying to push as much black as possible, so we're usually, when we're swinging for 8, we're getting in for like pierce 6, and so on like that. The next three coming in here is going to be Master of Metallica. Now, this card is always in multi-battle icon decks that I do have, just because it is so fantastic. I know that I've delivered some massive attacks, and I know I'm going to show you guys some more Scorponok gameplay here soon, where this card is just really a huge benefit, is what I will say. Now, it is an orange, black, and blue battle icon card. If you don't know anything about these different icons within the battle icons, the card will always count as those colors. So if you have something that's looking for color, it will always match those colors. However, you only get the battle icon effects in combat if you match the trait. Hope I summed that up fast enough for you guys. So if you're attacking with a specialist, you'll get the orange. If you're attacking with a ranged character, you'll get the piercing. If you're blocking with a melee character, you will get the defense, which is what we are, is melee and range. So we are going to get access to the pierce and access to the defense. I really don't want the orange anyway. If we could get it, sweet. If not, whatever. We totally can't in this list. However, this card does say choose one of your characters when it attacks this turn, and you flip battle cards. It gets +1 attack until end of turn for each different color among battle icons you flip. So this can potentially get you up to +5 attack. And because we're flipping so many cards and we do have focus, we usually hit between 3 to 5 damage on a regular basis with this card. So it can really be a nice card to help get an additional push when it comes to attack. Not to mention, if you guys do look at the Crushing Claws, that does ask for us to have an orange, black, blue. This card, as long as we see it in our flips, will immediately proc this ability no matter what, because obviously it is orange, black, and blue. The next three cards coming in here is Reclaim. Now, this is one of the cards that I was specifically saying helps us get to those upgrades. So if we happen to flip upgrades on defense that we really wanted, we hit Reclaim. It is a blue battle icon card. It says put an upgrade from your scrap pile on top of your deck. So like, let's say we flip this on our defense or whatever else, we get to put Crushing Claws back on top of our deck. We get to swing with Scorponok, and then at the end of combat, we get to go ahead and put it onto our character, which is super nice, or whatever kind of upgrade we're trying to get. Maybe we missed the Zerk Shield. That's the last one we were missing before we got to our 3-peat. So I would go ahead and hit Reclaim, put that Zerk Shield on top, get a nice swing with it, and then also get to go ahead and play it on after combat, and then now we have the trifecta for the Pierce 7. The next card coming in here is going to be Security Checkpoint. Now, Security Checkpoint is mainly in there because it is a double blue battle icon. It says each player reveals their hands and scraps all upgrades from it. Now, you guys did see we don't rock that many upgrades, so a lot of times we're only going to be holding a upgrade at a time. So it's really nice for us to play our upgrade for the turn and then hit a Security Checkpoint to really hurt our opponent and have them lose a lot of upgrades. Again, we're really light on upgrades, so it's really nice for us to be able to try to get a lot of their upgrades out of their hand, just because we really don't want them trying to get more advantage than us, especially being a 1-tall. Our opponent is already losing out on attacks and card playing, which is really, really nice. So if we can manage to hit their hand on top of that, we're going to find ourselves in a really good spot. The next two coming in here as our star cards are going to be Fuel Cache. Now, you guys saw we're really a multi-pip deck. We're trying to get the Master Metallica abilities. We're trying to get the Crushing Claws abilities. So I wanted to go with a multi-battle icon color star card, and that is going to be an a white, orange, and blue. Now, this card does have some pretty cool effects. I rarely ever play it unless it's kind of a desperate mode, because it does say reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If they include at least a white, orange, and blue, put them in your hand. Otherwise, you scrap them. So most of the time I end up missing the ability because that's kind of very specific to try to get, and I don't run that many white battle icons in this deck, so it can be pretty hard to get the ability. However, it's mainly in there for the battle icons. Now, the next two coming in here, if they can try, is going to be Heavy-Handed. Again, a really good card, blue battle icon card, and they just say one of your characters gets +2 until end of turn, and while it's attacking an enemy that has less stars than it or fewer stars, then it does get Pierce 4. Now, most characters that we're going to be attacking are going to be less stars than Scorponok, so we're always going to be getting that Pierce 4, which is really good. And again, we talked about like a lot of those black battle icons that we have, so we're really trying to push those Pierce numbers on those bigger characters or in heavy blue lists to make sure that we are finishing those characters. I really want to take down a character in probably 2 swings, unless it's like a Galaxy Prime or a Captain Jetfire. Those are going to take 3 hits, but I really want to take down pretty much every other main character in list, including like a Major Shockwave in 2 hits. The next card coming in here is going to be Hold the Line. We're going to put it up here for space reasons. It's going to be a white battle icon card and a green battle icon card. Again, really nice getting those 2 additional on attack, 2 additional on defense for flips. Green to be able to pick up when we have, some bad cards in our hand, and additional cards off of the Metallica swing. It does say reveal when one of your characters defends, obviously when our Scorponok defends, and then it does say repair 1 damage from the defender, which is yourself, and then you can only take the maximum amount of damage equal to the number of stars that the attacker is. So if you're getting attacked with a 5 or 6 star character, the max damage you can take is 5 or 6. Or again, if you're playing it on a character that's 14 stars, well, the max number you can take is 14. So you're rarely going to be hitting those kind of cards, but it does also let us repair 1, which can be pretty nice as well. The next two coming in here is going to be Sabotage Armaments. Now, Sabotage Armaments is a blue battle icon card, probably one of my favorite secret actions, if not my favorite secret action. It does say when one of your characters defends, you get to scrap all the attacker's weapons. Now, it's just one weapon, it's all of their weapons. So if you happen to have, like, if you're going to be against another Scorponok and they have 2 Crusher Claws, get them out of here, they go away, which is really nice. Or if you're going to be against a Predaking that's got multiple weapons and stuff like that, it does get them all off. Or even if they have like a weapon in the armor slot, again, it still does work because you scrap all of their weapons. And then again, just really helping us out with not taking big amounts of damage when it comes to defending. Now, the next two coming in here is going to be Resilience. Now, this is a new card coming out with our wave as well. It is a green battle icon card, and it is a very needed card for a lot of characters in that higher star count because of health pools. So it's really, really nice. Repair 5 damage from one of your characters that has 19 or more stars, then put this card into your KO area. So again, really nice for us to be able to use on our character to be able to repair, because again, when we are a 1-tall, if we're going up against a wide team, Scorponok is not very good, whereas Fort Max is the opposite. Fort Max is extremely powerful against those wide teams because he does so much direct damage across the table on attack and on defense. We're going to be very good against 3 wides, 2 wides, really good against that because we're doing so much damage. And then again, Resilience, being able to make sure that we get to repair and try to stick around for another attack. And then the last 3 cards coming in here are all going to be one-ofs, and the first one coming in is going to be Disassemble. It is a black and a green battle icon card. Scrap any weapon or armor, its owner draws a card. Now, you can choose to also target yourself. It doesn't matter if it's yourself or if it's an enemy. It does only also scrap weapons or armors, so don't try to hit any utilities with it. It's not going to work out for you. So it is really nice, and then they obviously get to draw a card, but again, that black battle icon for that Pierce, the green, to be able to get them some random cards out of our hand if we're trying to fish it, and then 2 additional good cards for our Metallica Metallica swing. And then Counter Espionage coming in with the same battle icons for the same exact reasons. And then it does say name and action. Look at your opponent's hand, and each face down enemy secret action, your opponent grabs each card of that name. So if they happen to have Sabotage Armaments, let's say you go for the name for that, they look at the face down secret action if they have one. If it does match a card that you named or another card in their hand, like again, Sabotage Armaments, they would lose the one in their hand and lose the one on the table. Or even if like your opponent's holding 3 focus fires, you're about to get blasted out of the sky by this card, you can go ahead and name Counter Espionage, get rid of them. It's also really good for enigmas. You can do a lot of that kind of stuff. So just name the cards and you can go ahead and pick them out of your opponent's hand. And then finally, Treasure Hunt is going to be an orange battle icon card. Scrap the top 4 cards of your deck, put all upgrades, scrap this way into your hand. Again, I talked about actions that help us dig a little bit more for some of our specific upgrades. This is going to be another one of those cards that's going to help us do pretty well with it. And I will tell you guys are going to see in a video coming out on my probably next Scorponok match where I hit the absolute jackpot with this Treasure Hunt. Really, really cool stuff. So just a really nice little card to help us dig a little bit deeper into our deck and to try to find some of those specific key cards that we do indeed fact want. And then at the end of every video, I always talk about sequencing and attacks and how all of that stuff works. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys just a quick little show of what some of the stuff is going to look like. Now, I said this character does work very differently than Fort Max, so if that's kind of what you're basing it on, he's very good against wide teams and doing all that. We're very good against the single teams. So we're going to just shuffle all those up. Let's go ahead, whoop, little bit of a cut there. And then I'm going to always try to go first if I do get to play with Scorponok, only because we just, again, really want to hit that main character. Every time we reset, we're always going to be the attacker. However, we want to make sure that we get that very first swing into an opponent who hasn't gotten to do anything with their main character. And again, it's really what we want to do is take out their main bot every single time we get a chance. We do always start with that Stinger on. We'll go ahead and get our draw for our first turn here. Nice, pretty good little hand here. We'll move all this to over there. Get out of here, get out of here. Boom. All right, just trying to set everything up. There we go. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. All right. So again, we're going to transform here. There's no reason for us to never not transform into this mode. We just deal so much more damage and we get access to the free upgrade ability. So we're going to go ahead and attack here into our main target. Let's go ahead and focus. I'm going to look at the top. I like the fact that it's an orange. So we're going to leave it, and then we do get access to bold 1. So those are 2 for the whites, and then bold 1. So we are going to be getting here for 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. So again, a really nice hit into the opponent. And then we do get to play an upgrade. Now we have a couple of different options here, Zerk Shield and Terrifying Resistance. Again, because we are rocking the Stinger, I'm going to go for the Zerk Shield. Not to mention, when it comes to Terrifying Resilience versus the Zerk Shield, this is a guarantee +2 defense, whereas this is a potential 2 to 4 based on our white battle icons in our list. However, again, I want to try to always go for the 3-piece, so we're going to go ahead and get that Zerk Shield. And then I did flip a green battle icon, so I'm going to pick up that Hold the Line for another Electro Stinger, just because unless my opponent is playing a specific way to get me to return that, it's usually going to stick around. So we'll go ahead and keep that. And then since we did play an upgrade, we don't get access to flipping for the turn. And then let's just go ahead and do a couple of defenses here so we get to focus. We'll go ahead and keep that on top, and then we do get the tough 1. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, which is a pretty nice little defense. Resilience is a card I'll always grab. I don't really ever care what the situation is. Fuel Cache we want in the deck, just because, again, we want it for the battle icon, so we'll pick up the Resilience. Always keep your cards set aside until the end of all the combats, or I guess the end of each turn, just because if you happen to shuffle, then that would make things weird. We'll focus, we'll keep that on top, and then we'll go for the tough 1. So again, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, where's my math? 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 math. I don't know, we were getting 8. So again, another 6 defense, really good, and then let's go for a third. We'll focus. We definitely scrap the heck out of that card. 2, and then tough 1. Really nice one here, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 for defense, which is really, really good there. And again, it's because we are melee in this mode, we get to access to those blues. So really nice defense. You guys can see we did, if our opponent's not obviously rocking a bunch of Pierce, direct damage, they only got 1 turn, so they only got to play 1 card and 1 transform. So we already took away a lot of their ability to be able to do stuff. Even if they would happen to have a way to get rid of the shield, we still would have been in a pretty good spot throughout those defenses, obviously taking less damage. And then we'll go ahead and straighten up, and we'll kind of just repeat the process as we go through here. A mag ray is pretty good for whatever situation. Now, depending on what we're going for, and if I can set up my hand, Depending on what we're going here for, again, we don't have any upgrades in our hand, which is a little unfortunate, but you guys saw we don't have many upgrades in the deck for us to go with. If I was really worried about like a big aggressive deck, I would definitely go for probably Sabotage here. If I'm trying to make sure I finish a specific character, I would go for a fight position. And again, if we can guarantee that we're going to kill a character or the main character without playing a fight for position, I'd probably go for a hold the line, make sure we get to prevent a little more damage on defense. Or if we need to get a bunch of wide damage out, a Mag Ray if we're running a bunch against a bunch of Autobots. I'm going to do the fight for position just because we're going to say we're trying to KO a big bot here. We're going to try to get this guy out of here. We're going to attack again. We get to focus. Look at the top card. We are going to definitely scrap it. Obviously, it's not an orange, so we're going to let it go. We're getting in here for 2. We get our bold 1 from our body, 2 for white, and then 2 from the fight for position. So a pretty good hit. Getting in here for 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Pretty solid. So with our first one being also, I think, 10 damage, that's 21 that we did swing for between the 2 attacks. So super, super good. And then again, we do have access to enforcement batons or a bashing shield here if we do want to get either of those. Now, let's say we don't want any of them. All we do is just let all those go bye-bye. We do get to transform because we're not playing an upgrade for the turn, and we do get to draw a card. Oh, look at there. So pretty nice for our next turn if our Scorponok does get to survive. Again, if we took down their big bot, we have a pretty good chance. They have obviously ways of removing these, but we could have potentially the 3-piece going into our next turn, which can be really, really nice for trying to crush another main character or, you know, a support character, and then also get the orange, black, blue proc. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Obviously, if you guys did, like, be greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys would change any cards up in your list and if you plan on sleeving up Scorponok himself.